why many people have problem in their life. One of the main reason why people have problem in their life is because of the wrong devata alignment. If people have a wrong devata alignment, they are going to have a lot of problem in their personal life. There is going to be a lot of fighting in the house, and there is a lot of going to be misunderstanding and misalignment which happens in life. That is why people have so much of suffering. For example, one person whom I know had a daughter and a son. They used to do a lot of Lalita and Lalita Sahasranama. In fact, the daughter became so successful that she got married in Australia and she settled down very well. Whereas the son had a lot of issue because they were worshipping a female devata. So if you have male children, always you should be willing to worship a male devata, and if you are going to have a female children, it is better to worship a female devata. I know a lady who had a lot of problem with the two young children because they were both of them were male, but she had a problem with them across as a person because she was going on worshipping Durga, and there was a lot of misunderstanding in the house, and Durga means Ugra energy. She had to give Bali, but unfortunately she never understood that, so she started giving the Bali of the life of the people. So become very very clear what is the Devata which you are going to worship. Many people have problem with the Devata, that is why they have a lot of issue. For example, I know there were 5 women who never got married, but they got initiated into Bala Tripura Sundari mantra. Bala means, they say, the young child. But young child means when the Devata come inside, they won't be interested in any kind of marriage or marriageable activity. So it turned out to be all the 5 sisters never got married because they had the Devata Siddhi. But they were always feeling that they are not married. So this is the contradiction. I know a relative of mine who had 2 male children. He went on to worship Kamakshi. There was a lot of problem into his life. He could not stay along with his family. He could not get along well with his wife. His wife had a lot of difference with him as a person. So they started fighting a lot, and there was a heavy misunderstanding in life. In fact, he died as a very, very sorrowful man in his life because his second child became a psychiatric in complaint and had developed schizophrenia, and there was a lot of problem into his personal life. Therefore, it is very, very important that you understand that the Devata in which you are worshipping is going to have a lot of problem. If the Devata is going to be very positive, sattvic, you are not going to have a problem. I know there was a Sindhi family whose one of the members of the family did Vatuka Bhairava Sloka. He went on doing Vatuka Bhairava Sloka. In fact, the death vortex opened into his family, and there was a lot of debts, failure, problem. People were cursing each other. People were not peaceful. In fact, it turned out to be very, very chaotic in life. So it is very, very important that you understand what is the Devata you worship, what kind of Devata you are going to produce in life. Now, in fact, I know there was a person who was doing Lord Subramanya, and he had had a lot of court case across. So you need to be very clear that when you worship, you are going to have a court cases in Subramanya thing, and you are going to have a lot of problem. But whereas these people never understood it, and many people get very angry when they do Subramanya Puja because it is fire, and they have a lot of difference of opinion with a lot of people. If you want to start something new, all these things, Subramanya Puja is becomes much better, because you'll be able to clear your obstruction, difficulty, and any kind of problem into your life. So become very careful about the kind of devata you're going to worship, and especially the kind of devata what you're going to worship in the Janma Nakshatra. If the Janma Nakshatra is so powerful that whatever devata you worship, you are going to have a good or a bad time across the person. Therefore, I request you, if you have male children, do male sadhana. If you are female devata, you are female sadhana. That is how your life will become better, your life will become prosperous. Worshipping the wrong devata is actually touching the nuclear cord or shocking yourself up. You are going to get into a problem. Now, if you do not know what is the devata you have to worship across, bring the horoscope. We would be able to help you across a person. Otherwise, also check whether you are having a male children or female children. Accordingly, you decide. This will help you to have a lot of siddhi and sadhana. Now, many people think devata comes actually internally, which is very true, but devata also comes externally. I actually went to a particular house and there was Vikram Swamiji was there. In fact, he was doing the Hanuman sadhana, and I saw his wife. She was huge, gigantic, and she was massive across as a person, because he was doing the Hanuman sadhana and the Hanuman was coming to his wife. I know my father was doing a lot of Kamakshi puja and mantra. My mother turned out to be very violent, very aggressive, very verbally abusive as a person. So because the devata was coming, actually the devata will come through the person next to you. So you need to be very careful about the kind of devata you're supposed to worship. When you do that, if for example you're doing Bhattuka Bhairava slogam, Sulini Durga slogam, definitely there will be awakening of lower forces. Your mind will get disturbed, you'll get very angry, and you like to eat alcohol. I used to do the Kapalini sadhana. One day I was so feeling that I need to eat the non-veg. I went and ate the chicken. Then only my heart was in the contention. So therefore, the wrong devata worship can lead you to problem, and the devata will come in the opposite to the person, your father, mother, or husband. It can come across. Therefore, become very careful. If you are a man who is not having enough money, and if you are going to do Bala Tripura Sundari, it is going to get worst as far as your career is concerned. I know many people, many men who do the female sadhana generally have a career problem, and many women who do the sadhana of male devata. I know there was a lady who was in a big corporate world. She used to worship Lord of Narasimha, and she turned out to be hugely successful into her life across a person. So therefore, you need to be very clear about the kind of sadhana you're supposed to do and the kind of impact it is going to have in life across. You can attract enemy, you can attract lower things. And there was a guy who did the Sunny sadhana, and he was a multi-millionaire. Slowly he had become pauper in his life. So become very clear. Your financial success, growth, and many other variety of things are due to because of the devata is what you worship. Thank you. you.